Portraiture has had many different roles across history. It can be a form of record-making, a consolidation of power, or a representation of an intimate relationship between the sitter and the artist. We're looking at 3 works today from the collection of the National Portrait Gallery that represent different aspects of portraiture. The rather imposing work that's behind me is Hans Holbein the Younger's preparatory drawing for something called the Whitehall mural, a painting that was destroyed in a fire in the late 17th century, depicting both Henry VIII and his father, Henry VII, behind him. This is one of the key works for our collection, not just because of the stature of the artist Holbein and the fact that this is very unusual being a large-scale surviving drawing by him, but of course also because of the subject, Henry VIII, or subjects, Henry VII, his father. This image is all about power, establishing an image and representing oneself to consolidate that. What Henry VIII was doing here in commissioning Holbein was establishing his own dynasty, the Tudor dynasty. By showing him with his father, he's presenting himself as not just the reigning monarch, but part of a line, the Tudor dynasty, that will govern England. You can see from his stance, this rather broad-legged stance, a stocky figure, but of course the dress is magnificent and quite imposing as well. Even the fact that Henry VIII is depicting himself with his father, but the father is in the background and actually looks much more tentative than his son. So this is really about Henry VIII consolidating his own image and power base. This is the portrait of the 3 Bronte sisters, Anne, Charlotte and Emily, painted by their brother Branwell. This is the only likeness of the 3 sisters, so as an historical document of those authors, this is incredibly important. The fact that it's painted by their brother attests to perhaps a greater degree of intimacy in the portrait. Branwell struggled in life. He struggled to compete with his sister's talent, and he tried to do different things and wasn't as successful as perhaps his sisters as an author, so began to paint. The gap resembles either a ray of light or a column, and you can see as you look closely that what's appearing from beneath the paint over time is a shadow of a male figure. We think that this was Branwell who painted himself into the portrait with his 3 sisters, and then for some unknown reason decided to paint himself out, which is quite interesting and maybe troubling. The choice of Malala as a sitter to be represented in our collection was quite deliberate because, of course, she's had a huge impact in this country, but also much further afield internationally in terms of her campaign for girls' education, her extraordinary bravery in standing up to the Taliban. I think she's a really inspirational figure for many people, myself included. Overlaid across her face is this very beautiful calligraphic text. In some ways, this is quite typical of Shirin's work that she's become renowned for. One of the lovely things that I've been told by my colleagues who work in the galleries is that you will often see young women wearing headscarves coming to be photographed next to this painting, and I think that's a really wonderful testament to her impact.